and welcome back to another episode of the Branching Out podcast. In this episode, we're speaking with Nathan Cleaver, a rail site manager in our infrastructure division. Hi, Nathan. Thank you for chatting with us today.
Hi there, thanks for having me on.
Welcome. So can we just get started? Could you please introduce yourself a bit and tell us about, what you and your team do at ground control? Obviously, rail site manager, people can jump to some conclusion there, but probably not really fully grasp everything that you guys do.
Yeah, that's no problem. So obviously, my name's Nathan Cleaver, as we covered on the beginning. For me, I'm a site manager across several projects across the Wales and Western regions. I'm also a responsible manager, which consists of me creating like safe work parks and implementing the correct task briefs that's required for them shifts for the teams. And then I follow that up then with 10% checks as I'm also a responsible manager, as I said. So I follow them up with 10% checks on the packs used, which keeps us in line with the 019 expectations. And it's also to make sure the packs are being filled out and used correctly on the shifts. So
Yeah,
if
that's
they're not, then I get an opportunity to let the cost know themselves, and
yeah.
pass information on to the planner if there's something wrong with the pack as well.
Yeah, no, I like you're working in probably our one of our most dangerous jobs, so making sure that the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed must be very like it probably takes up quite a bit more of your time than people would think.
Yeah, the planning side of things can, don't get me wrong, so some parts of it can be quite easy to plan, but some of it needs more in-depth research into it, like desktop studies, site visits, and so on, to get the correct information depending what you're doing.
Yeah, and you must have to build those relationships too with your cause guys on site to make sure like build that sort of trust in what you're giving them as the plans and that they're following through and making sure that everything is done to spec and the health and safety of it all is followed.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's really beneficial to have a good relationship with your costers out on site. It leaves them feeling more comfortable to talk to you if they're looking at something and unsure on it.
Yeah.
They're more comfortable then to come to you and ask you, can you explain this, and make them understand easier and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Matching what's on paper to what they're actually walking into when they get there on the day, which I'm sure can sometimes change with weather and things like that.
Yeah.
Obviously you've been with us for a bit now. Do you have any insights into your experience working at ground control?
Yeah, so since joining ground control, like I've been here about 2.5, 2 and 3/4 years now.
Yep.
I've really enjoyed my experience being ground control, to be honest, because with ground control, this is the vegetation side of the railway.
Yeah.
My previous years, I was more P-way and civils,
Yeah.
so it was relatively new coming into it. Um, but I've had all the help, to be honest, and the support from a lot of people within ground control to help me understand a lot of things. The amount of courses that's on offer, and that's very helpful to everyone as well.
Yeah, because it's not just your rail. Like there's so many rail qualifications and things that you have to hold in order to work in even just vegetation management on the railways. But then there's that additional learning that we'll talk about in a little bit that you've also done. Would you say, like, I mean, so you guys, you're just managing the like sort of vegetation management of rail, is that right, what you're saying?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you work directly with the clients at all? Like, like, I guess where I kind of lack knowledge is do you have to regularly speak with the client about each project, or is it they are like giving you an area and that you're sort of like that stretch of rail that you're going to go through and do what you need to do? Is that how it works? Or,
Yeah, so, sometimes you will work directly with them. So obviously some things might pop up that you need answers on. So for a good example would be structures. So I was a site manager for the structures last year, and a lot of that consisted of back and forth with the client.
yep.
So they were telling us what we needed to do, what was expected on the shifts, And that's when we done the planning of it, the background research, the desktop studies, the site visits,
Yep.
and so on. Then we'd have a weekly meeting with them then, just see how things went. Anything that we wasn't possibly able to complete, went through and explained why, what revisits are needed and why,
Yep.
and just stuff like that.
Yeah, and you're able to then sort of have a good relationship then with a client where maybe some of the other guys that wouldn't necessarily speak with them a bit more regularly, you're like it seems more like a team, everyone's coming together to get the job done then. Is that how it is? Or
Yeah, so for projects, you don't see the client a lot.
Mhm.
They do come out and do their 10% checks of the sites and stuff there when we've got Adam signed off.
Yep.
Or we are always subject to surprise visits from them when they just pop down, come out, see how we get on. I've briefs off the courses on site and so on, and ask them a couple of questions on site, see how they're finding the job and stuff like that. But with the structures, it was a lot more interaction with the client than projects, I found.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's an asset there to be really like obviously vegetation and clearance. There is trees are assets to some extent, but like actual structure, like if things, yeah, if a bridge or something's going wrong, like if something's going wrong with a bridge, it's gonna cause a lot more trouble than if something's going wrong with a tree that can probably be taken down in a couple of hours. Um, would you say, do you have any, I guess, so when you're working on structures versus vegetation management, is there been like any particular challenges that you and your team have faced or memorable moments?
To be honest, the railway is always full of challenges,
Yeah.
which is I think it's why I keep coming back to it because I've tried different professions over the last couple of years, but I keep coming back to the railway
Yeah.
because every day is different, and I find that a lot better than being stuck in a routine or stuck in
Yeah.
an office. It's nice to, like, for me now. Sometimes I work from home, sometimes I'm in the office. Most of the time I'm on site, and I
Yeah.
like that. It's changing all the time. It's keeping your memory changing and working all the time.
Yeah.
So for challenges, yeah. So every day you come up against challenges, whether it's within the planning or whether it's after the planning, and you get out on site. And like you mentioned earlier, things do change on site with it, whether the weather is different.
Hmm.
So say the high winds. If we
Yeah.
planned out for
Oh
our team
yeah.
to go out there and do climbing, that's going to drastically change it because obviously the teams we have to risk assess the high winds and stuff there and keep an eye on the weather. And it'll be risk assessed on the site whether that shift can actually go ahead as planned or if we have to replan it and continue doing the shift another way.
Yeah. Do you like the train, like the, do you have to make, I guess, do you have to work along with the trains, like the trains that are going past, or do you often have to do shutdowns or night work to make it work?
Yeah, obviously it depends what we got to do out there. We do open line working, we do line block working, and we do possession working. So open line, we'll remain 2 meters plus away from the track, which is maintained by a site warden and a COS.
Okay.
So that depends on what the boys need to do. So say if they need to fell trees, depending on the size of the tree and where we can fell it, it could be possibly done line block or it may need possession. It all depends on the situation on site, to be honest.
Yeah. So you really do have to stay alert. And like you said, that the constant challenges that keeps you engaged and alert. Is there anything else you do to help? Like, is it like 2 cups of coffee every morning, or like, how do you keep yourself alert and on like aware of everything going on?
I don't know. I've been on a good couple of years. I guess 16, 17
Yeah.
years now. So it's just second nature now, really.
Is it? Yeah.
Not so much a coffee person, to be fair.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess definitely with 17 years experience on the rails, you've seen your fair share of things. So, would you say there's any misconceptions or stereotypes about your job?
Definitely stereotypes. A lot of people see management roles or supervisor roles as like, oh, you don't do a lot. Well, you're always sat in the office, or you're always doing this, you're always doing that. But it's not the case. So I know a couple of people that stepped up from site and gone up to like supervisor and manager levels,
Yeah.
and they actually realize then, like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it is smooth sailing. You have nice days, it's
Yeah.
quite calm. But then when things are expected of you, there and then, it does become very stressful, and it's not a very nice environment to work in. So it's got its ups and downs, but people on site don't always see it that way, and they don't see what happens behind the scenes sometimes, and some of the questions you got to answer too, if things haven't gone as planned.
Yeah. Yeah, really the buck falls with you as the supervisor at the end of the day.
Yes.
And that's why, yeah, it's making sure those people on site do, I mean, like you said, we're building those relationships with your cause guys, and even then building relationships with the actual operatives is so important to make sure that they, they realize, everything that goes into just them getting out onto site. There's a lot that goes into it, like you said, with the planning and making sure that everything is exactly, what it needs to be, with some form of flexibility for any extra challenges that you face on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we wrap this up, is there any upcoming projects or anything you're excited about for your team?
So as it stands, we're on a bit of a halt at the moment due to ecology licenses and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's given us a good opportunity to walk out there and have a look at things and stuff like that without cutting. So we're just out there walking the tracks with ecologists for the upcoming projects. But yeah, for myself, I got two upcoming projects going to be starting in mid-September to beginning of October. So package 5 and package 2.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back into that because, as I mentioned earlier, last year I was included into the structures project a lot, which
Yeah.
took a lot of time up from me, and it was probably my main focus at the time. I took a little bit of a step back from project works. I still worked on the projects as and when I could, but I was more step back and into the structures, which consisted of a lot of desktop studies and site visits just for that.
Yeah.
But stepping back into the projects now, we did do a couple of easy wins this year now before the license stopped
Yep.
at the end of May, which was good, and it was nice to get back in that environment as well, and back out with the teams, out on site more.
Yeah.
So I'm excited now for the end of the year for that to kick back off, so I can get stuck into it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obviously we're in another heat wave as we're talking at the moment, so it's gotta be somewhat relief that you're not having to stand out there next to hot rails, at the moment with the weather the way it is. At least September, October, it will hopefully the weather will settle a bit for you by then.
Oh yeah, it was brutal out there for some of the teams, to be honest, when we had that last heat wave.
Yeah.
We made sure they were hydrated and stuff like that, taking regular breaks.
Yep.
But again, that's a challenge on yourself as well, coming
Yeah.
up against different temperatures every day.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. We are the L&D team that run this podcast. And obviously, I know you've been a part of the GC Academy a bit. Could you kind of share some ways in which you have focused on your own personal development over the last year or two?
Yeah, so for myself, I'm looking to progress higher than a site manager role within ground control. Obviously, as and when it's practical and the right time for myself, and obviously GC.
Yep.
I've taken place in several training modules now with GC Academy, and to be honest, yeah, it opens your eyes to a lot of stuff. And I think sitting on it with several different people from different aspects in ground control as well. They're not all site based or vegetation based. A lot of them are admin, some of them are IT, some
Yeah.
of them are managers within like potholes or fencing and stuff like that. So sitting with them, going through them sort of courses, hearing different scenarios and how they'd manage it. It has been insightful, to be honest.
Yeah, it's sort of breaking those silos down a bit as well to, try to. I think that's part of the one of the main things with GC Academy is bringing everyone together so that you kind of almost sometimes you realize, oh, I mean, it's not the exact situation I would be experiencing, but it's similar enough that I can apply those learnings to mine, which is really, I think, obviously helpful in kind of bringing us together as one team at ground control. How else have like the development programs you have done, how they helped you in your role?
Um, touching what I just mentioned about like other people mention how they would go about different scenarios and different ways they cope with stressful situations or pressure situations, just stuff like that really. I'm always open, and I always listen to different people how they do things, because I'm not one to say I do it this way, that's how we're doing it. I like to listen and learn how people do it differently, and I like to put that in practice sometimes as well. And I could work out that I was doing it the long way, and they got a much more faster, equally safe way to do it. So
Yeah.
that's been a good part of most of these GC learning modules, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's almost like so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you also just completed your IOSH Managing Safely, is that correct?
Yeah, I've just correct. Yeah, I've just completed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I mean congratulations. That is it, it it's not a quick job that the IOSH qualification. So you're almost are you able to kind of marry the two up a bit, like your kind of behavioral management from the GC Academy with the safety management of IOSH?
Yeah, yeah, you can take a lot of it into it. Obviously, I've been on for a while as well, so I could take a lot of that into it. But it was a lot I learned from the IOSH as well. Mostly about the risk assessments of stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
It was eye-opening to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, you guys have to have so much safety training anyway with rail, but kind of IOSH is that overarching safety management aspect that, I mean, I don't know if you necessarily get with the rail training. So I mean, congratulations for doing that and completing it. For anyone listening, do you have any tips or advice that they could apply to help them in their development?
So we'll touch on tips first. So tips, obviously, this will go for different sort of people because not everyone is comfortable progressing from where they are. People get to where they are and they want to stay. But for me personally, and if anyone's like me as well and wants to progress, I find just getting more experience out there, getting out there, doing things, seeing things, speaking to people that's actually doing it. And like I said just now, watching and observing people doing things different ways, and then try and put it into your own practice as well, just to see how if it could benefit you, or if not. If not, obviously you can pass your information on to people as well.
Yeah.
But just get in the training, and to be honest, like for me, with safety and stuff like that, I got a lot of safety critical tickets as well.
Yeah.
So I got stuff like, COS, PC. I've done engineering supervisor before. I got machine controller tickets, crane controller tickets, pause tickets. Well, it's not so much a
Yeah.
ticket, it's more of a
Yeah.
briefing. I've done a lot over the years, to be honest. I've been point stop, LXA. I've done quite a lot of safety critical tickets over the years, and I've maintained some of them. This is practical for
Yeah.
this job, and I do put them into practice quite a lot. And yeah, so just find out what you want to do, where you want to go, and find out the routes you need to go down together.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And advice, what's your best piece of advice you've been given so far?
For me, advice, I find following the Take Five good practice is great advice for in work and outside work. 'Cause it just reminds you to look at something, take a step back from it, find out the best way you can do it, and then put it into place. So I find take five is really good advice for anyone to follow within work and outside.
Yeah, and it gives you a chance to compose yourself really, and if you're making just gut decisions, that might not be the right one. So yeah, take five, reset yourself for a moment, and get back to it with a clearer head, really, from what it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely. No situation should be that high pressure that you can't spend the time to say, "Whoa, wait, let's take a step back, let's have a look at it, let's
Yeah,
reassess it, and then go again."
yeah. I mean, it could be life-saving at the end of the day.
Definitely in this line of work, definitely.
Yeah.
Obviously not so much in life, like, but yeah,
Uh,
definitely in this line of work.
maybe. Before rushing down the stairs with your hands full, take 5 and think, maybe I should do this in more than one trip. Right. Well, thank you so much, Nathan. It's been really good catching up with you today. And thank you so much for your insights into your experience at ground control. And hopefully catch up with you again soon.
Brilliant. Thanks for having me on, and have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the Branching Out podcast. If you'd like to join us here on the podcast, please reach out to us in the training team. Until next time, take care.